Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin. It's Wednesday. Alan Ruff is alongside me and Barry Ferguson as well. Lots to get our teeth into today. Yep, lots to discuss. Let's first of all talk about the Lee Griffiths situation. It's still ongoing. Lots of people have their view. Scott Brown was talking today. He's no longer involved in international campaigns. He was at Celtic Park launching their new tartan, resplendent in his kilt, no less. But eventually he sat down and reckoned that Lee Griffiths was brave to call off.
It's brave of the wee man to do that because he wants to work on his fitness, he wants to come in here, he wants to do better, and I think maybe going away with Scotland he's not going to get the game time that he was maybe going to expect, and the training wouldn't be as hard because of the two games coming up, so I think he's wanting to get back into as sharp as he possibly can for the Hibs game coming up as well, and I think for him Scotland and Celtic need Lee as fit as he possibly can be for the whole season, and I think he's probably done the best thing for him now, work on in that and get yourself as sharp as possible, because as soon as he does, he's the best striker in Scotland by far. He scores goals and that's why he keeps playing in the team, but he just needs that little bit of break.
Sometimes if you listen closely to an answer, the truth is revealed. Scott Brown says maybe he's not going to get the game time he would expect. He's in the huff. Didn't like the fact that Naismith was going to get the start. And for me, it's self-explanatory. I mean, it doesn't need any great insight. It doesn't need any defence from his own captain at Celtic or Callum McGregor yesterday or maybe Charlie Mulgrew the day before. It's obvious.
Yeah, it was obvious to me that he wasn't going to start with Naismith's performance in the last game, scoring 2 goals. So I think he was going to start on the bench. But I do see a bit where Lee Griffiths is coming from. He's clearly not fit enough in his performances that I've watched. Certainly the game at the weekend against St Johnstone, he looked nowhere near the Lee Griffiths that I know.
But that's a lack of professionalism, Barry. I'm sorry, it's a lack of professionalism. Yeah, and I think also on the back of that, I think Alex McLeish is open to criticism as well. He shouldn't have let the cat out of the bag and said Naismith's a certain starter. What motivation is that to anyone? I don't think Alex should have done that. Look, I don't think you should say there is a certain starter in the team. I'll go back to, I know Naismith played a great game, scored 2 great goals, but you should never come out and say that, look, he's going to start, because then it causes problems. I know what it's like. I've been in squads when guys have came and they know they're not going to play, and it is difficult because when you come, Lee Griffiths is clearly not fit enough. He knows he needs to get fitter and work harder. When you come to Scotland, the training isn't at the same like tempo you are at your club, because guys are playing week in, week out. They're coming to play, and the training's more geared on the team that's going to be playing the game against Israel on Thursday. So then it's up to you, I suppose, to go and do your own bit of training after it to keep your fitness at a high standard. But it's clear what Scott Brown said there. He's no. One of the reasons that he wasn't turning up is because he didn't think he was going to play. I mean, honestly, Scott Brown's fired that out and thinking nobody's going to pick up on it. It's just screaming out at you, Ruffy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with players calling off with an injury. An injury, it might be long term and it might hazard their playing for their club. But fitness to me is a new one for me, the fitness one. I always thought that your manager, whoever your manager was, determined whether you were fit or not. You know, and he's the guy you had to prove. I thought he should have went away with the Scotland squad and let Alex McLeish find out how unfit he is.
No, I thought Lee Griffiths should have had the same treatment as everyone else. This is the one thing I would defend the boy on, not his actions after it. I think Alex McLeish should have said, great win over Albania, we move on. Great performance from Naismith, end of story. And block off, you're an experienced manager, Ruffy, block off anything about does that put him in the box seat, because everybody has to fight for their place. Barry's right, you cannot get to the point where you're demotivated knowing you're going to sit in the bench.
Exactly, I'm looking at. But the thing about it is when that was done, You know, and quite from a manager, every manager, if a player scores 2 goals, you're going to talk him up. You want to talk him up and give him a big pat in the back and give him everything. He is the guy who's won the game for you. Lee Griffiths quoted after the first bit, he had a go at Alec McLeish, and then down the next bit he said, but it's up to me to fight my way back into this team. Now, he's not shown that fight at all. As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, but,
you know,
but with every line, Ruffy, there's a covering line.
Yeah,
there's something to cover my tail with. That's what it's all about here. You know, it's like, you know, how many times have we been on a show and you actually ask a question about somebody and they go, I really like him, but bang. Yeah. You know, it's almost as if you're trying to cover yourself. He's a really nice guy, but he's done something wrong. The cold, hard facts here are, I think Alex should have kept it in-house. I agree with you as well. I understand. Stevie Naismith scored 2 goals. He should expect I'm going to get the start again.
If I'm the player,
he's the top scorer. I think if he's not the top scorer, he's joint top scorer in the league right now.
If I scored 2 goals and I played away like I did in the last game, like Naismith did, and don't forget Johnny Russell. I thought Johnny Russell had a really good game, so I would expect to be turning up. I know your club form's important, but Naismith's form has been good at Hearts, so he would fully expect to start. I mean, I know nobody's guaranteed to start, but if I'm Naismith, I'm going there thinking, right, I'm 99.9% sure that I'll be starting against Israel.
Yeah, I'm not backing him, Barry. I'm giving you the explanation of where I think Lee Griffiths' head is at and how he feels as if that was a slightly, a demotivating thing that prompted his actions, which I don't back. I think his actions are just bang out of order.
But I'm looking at Lee Griffiths, Peter, and saying, right, can he not go to Scotland and do double sessions? Whether he's not going to play, he'll train with the team in the morning, but away in the afternoon.
I agree with you. Yeah, why not?
Do his wee bit extra. I think that would have looked a lot better. So it's not just Lee Griffiths. It's Alec. They've had the chat. I think was it on Saturday night they had the chat about things, or Sunday. I'm not too sure. I would have liked to have seen him go. All right, he's not going to play, but go and work on your fitness because you've got time. Because you know what it's like away international. You train in the morning, and then you've got the rest of the night or the afternoon and night to do what you want.
Well, here's the other situation. You know, you're in a situation where if it's, for example, Germany and Leroy Sané is bang out of order, they send him home. Just get out. We've got options. You might be a great option, but go. You know, the same situation can't be said of smaller countries because sometimes they've got you in a difficult situation. We do not have a plethora of great strikers. Northern Ireland, Kyle Lafferty pulls out, says he's got an Achilles strain. Rangers say he's fit.
I know. I read that story. I can see why Michael O'Neill's not happy with that.
Yeah.
He received a phone call from Kyle Lafferty saying that he's not going to travel because he's injured, and then Rangers came out and said that he's fit.
I thought you had to report.
I said that on Monday,
and the doctor has a look at you and then he decides whether you're fit or not fit.
The 10 years of the 11 years that I was involved in international football, if you had an injury, you had to turn up, whether you're meeting up on the Sunday or the Monday, and you had to get seen with the medical staff, with the physios and the doctor, and then they would come to a decision whether, right, you know what, you can stay for another few days, you might have a chance of training to play on the Saturday, or you go back to your club, you have no chance of playing.
Let's just say he can't be bothered, or he doesn't want to go to these games, or he wants to pick and choose. Northern Ireland are not in a position. Michael O'Neill knows he's got a tough job to try and get Northern Ireland to punch well above their weight, and I think he's done a fabulous job. But you can't turn around to Kyle Lafferty at the moment and say you're out. Although he's tempted to. If he had an option, I think he would.
Yeah, I think that you've got to look at the other aspect of it as well. If the Northern Ireland players that are there and prepared to put on that jersey and fight for their country, and they know that there's a player who supposedly is fit and doesn't want to be part of their team, that can cause a bit of problem as well, because there are players in that squad who'll say, well, you're saying, yeah, they need them, but they'll be saying, well, maybe we don't, if it's going to cause trouble in the camp.
Yeah, but they do need them. The goals are so hard to come by, Ruffy.
Yeah. So what do? Do you just let these players just roll over everybody and just say...
Can I tell you something? In the 21st century, Ruffy, the answer is yes. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, man, I can't disagree with you. I mean, obviously, I keep getting back into the old days and that, and it wouldn't happen. It definitely would not happen then.
Well, and from your comments yesterday, you get absolute pelters on social media about the fact that you talked about in our day he'd been bloated right out the door. He would have been. I agree with you.
Even back to...
Even in Barry's day, I'm not going back as far as me, Barry's there. I would like to think.
I get a lot of grief for pulling out of squads. I'd missed certain games and other players in my time, but we had to turn up and get assessed.
Yeah,
it wasn't us phoning up and saying, look, I'm not turning up. I've got an injury. I'm just going to stay at my club. No, you'll turn up at the hotel or the base, wherever we were, whether it be in Glasgow or Edinburgh, and you had to turn up and you seen the doctor and the physio, and then they assessed you, and then it was their decision whether you stay or you go back to your club to get treatment.
Well, here's another dilemma. Charlie Mulgrew's come out with the fact that he has admitted coming under pressure from his club about continuing his international career. In effect, you know, listen, any chance you can give up Scotland and just stay here at the club.
Yep.
Now, you know, Charlie Mulgrew's a big enough and man enough to be able to turn around and go, no, there's no chance. I'm going to stay and play for my country because I love playing for it. And he is one of the guys like that.
Yep, I've seen his comment. You're a long time retired or finished. I've got to be honest with you, I've never had a manager, a club manager, say to me.
Never?
Never. But whether we've got an important game, say you had a double header and you're playing on the Tuesday or the Wednesday and we've got a massive game the Saturday or the Sunday, I'd never had a manager turn around to me and say, listen, can you maybe try and no playing that game, or maybe say that you've got a slight strain. All the managers that I played under were more than willing to let me go and play with my national team.
Here's another question. Have you ever been witness to other players that you know have been told that?
No, because I think that would be a one-on-one with the manager and the player.
Yeah.
I think that's something that would be done in an office, not in front of the players. I can just go on the managers that I played under.
Yeah, but I'm talking about players telling you, you'll never believe this. This gaffer's just said to me, any chance?
No, I've got to be honest with you, Peter. International football back then, and listen, I get a lot of criticism for that. I missed quite a few games, and it was a lot of the friendly games. But then it was the games that I missed, and I wasn't injured. The manager had phoned me and says, "Listen, we're going to give the guys who have not had game time,
yes,
this in the friendly." So
there was a legitimate reason from the manager to you.
Yeah, which, listen, I would rather play, but do you know what? That's the manager's decision. You've got to respect that.
See, the other thing is, if you'd have played in at least 3 of those friendlies, you wouldn't have had to have taken the pelters you're getting for the 50 club.
I know, but listen, I can give him his bit.
Ruffy, you lived in a... here's the point, you lived in an era where players did pull out.
Yeah, they did pull out, but the ones that I'm talking about, the Dalglishes, the Sounnesses, the John Robertsons and that, would never have missed a game. Never. They used to. I told you the other day, they used to finish playing down in Arsenal or Chelsea, and they were determined to go on that plane to get up and meet everybody and do their bit. Because, and the other thing is, maybe it was because we were so successful then. Maybe it's because we were qualifying, and that gave everybody the
incentive.
The people are now going, oh, we're not qualifying, so what's the point? You know, I just concentrate on my club.
I've been involved, all the squads and all the players that I've been involved with in international football. I've never seen one that... Listen, it gets boring at times, you know, when you're away for 10 days, you're sitting about.
You can occupy yourself with other things.
Yeah, of course. I've known that myself.
This is the only time I've been on a programme where I can look at 2 candidates and think, you can occupy yourselves with something else.
No, but it does get boring. But listen, every single player that I played with was more than determined to be there.
Yeah,
and it gets hard, Ruffy, doesn't it? Once you get into the 5 and 6 days and you're holed up in a hotel, it does become difficult. But it's different when you get out in that training ground and once you get playing.
Yeah, okay. It's one of those ones. You can give us your thoughts on it on our YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter as well. The arguments will rage on and on. Just before we leave that subject, would you pick him again for Scotland?
Yes, I believe a fit and firing Lee Griffiths is the best striker available to Scotland.
If I would have to be in the know of exactly who's telling the truth here and who isn't, and even in the inner sanctum of what's been happening. Is he answering phone calls? Is he not? Is he doing whatever some people think he's doing, just being mischievous? I wouldn't pick him again if that was the case. If he's at it, I wouldn't pick him again. I don't care who he is. The
reason I'm saying I would is because I've seen Peter Grant do an interview yesterday and saying, listen, everything's fine. He spoke with Alec, had a good conversation, and they're totally happy with that. So I don't see it as a problem. He's going to listen, what's happened has happened. Let him go away and hopefully gets back to what he can be, because a fit Lee Griffiths, let's be honest, he is a top striker. So we need our top players available.
Okay, the ticket allocation is the next topic we're going to discuss, because Aberdeen, they've urged the SFA, the SPFL for a summit. That was the first thing a couple of days ago. Now they want more transparency over ticket allocations for the big games. They've got to get 20,300 tickets now, which I think they're happy with. They complained about their original allocation, which was 16,000, just over that. I think the commercial director has said it's taken 10 days since the draw for us to get to this point. It leaves a lot to be desired. I can understand Aberdeen's concern with this. Rangers have released a statement saying they're pleased that common sense has prevailed, and they'll get an allocation of 26,000 tickets.
I think it's a fair outcome. There's no doubt in my mind when Rangers and Aberdeen get drawn against each other that Aberdeen were easily going to sell whatever. I think the allocation was 16,800. They weren't happy with that. It went to 20 now, and they were going to sell that all day long, because there's a big, you know what the Rangers and Aberdeen games are like. So there's no doubt in my mind they would have no problem selling the tickets. I don't know why they just didn't do this 10 days ago.
Yeah,
and cut all the nonsense.
I think Aberdeen are right to feel more than a little miffed with what's gone on in their treatment, and the treatment of their fans first and foremost. I think, you know, leaves a lot to be desired. I think he's right. I back Aberdeen on this.
Yeah, I mean, everybody complains, that Rangers have got bigger support, and a lot of these Aberdeen supporters probably wouldn't even have been at the semi-final, but the game's all about trying to attract other people to your club, and if that extra 5,000 or 6,000 people that go decide to buy a season ticket next year because of that, then that's what it's all about.
Okay. I think it is fair, but Rangers do get the more tickets, because they have got a bigger support. But I think with being a semi-final, I have no doubt in my mind that the Aberdeen fans will turn out in force and sell the 20,000.
Is the same scenario going to happen at Murrayfield? Because that's a bigger stadium. That's about 62, isn't it?
I think everybody will. I think they'll get a fair. I think our Hearts fans will be more than happy with the allocation they'll get. We just have to wait to see what the ticket prices are, Ruffy. That could be the latest thing that rears its ugly head shortly, because you want both semi-finals to be the same ticket prices. But whether that's the case or not, let's wait and see. Scott McKenna says he reckons the big move will come. He can understand why Aberdeen rejected the move. If he bides his time, I think there will be a bigger club for him. Yeah,
as long as he shows the form that he did last season. I was really impressed with him last season. Obviously broke into the Scotland team. The games that I've seen him, I was really impressed. So he needs to keep that sort of form up, and I've no doubt that there will be teams down in England after him. Yeah, okay. Ruffy, lots of things that we've got to talk about just before we finish the programme, and I think it's only right and proper we talk to you about some of the headlines that have come out this morning. Clearly, Barry and I, obviously, well, I worked with you for 6 years, and we think we'd get a steer at some point on who's going to be the next manager. It hasn't been forthcoming right now, but we've read that there's Scott Gemmell, Jim McIntyre and Gary Caldwell in line for this job. But now, the candidate's growing day by day. Interviews, when's it happening? Give us the inside for Thistle fans.
Yeah, we haven't closed the applicants. It's opening, as you said, day by day. There are more and more people interested because it's a fantastic club to come to. Fantastic setup with the training ground and everything next year, the academy. I'm sure we will continue to get applicants, but there will be a time when we'll say, right, that's it, let's sift through it, narrow it down to maybe 3 or 4, and then interview, and then hopefully pick the right person that can take us back to the Premiership.
Yeah, and the remit is just, the job is get us back this season?
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great if we could, but I mean, other teams haven't achieved that. You know, I think this year there are a lot of clubs will think that they're going to make it. We need to start playing better and start winning games, but maybe a new manager can do that for us.
Yeah, and do you think there's still time for him to get you through?
Yeah, well, as I say, we're sitting third. I think we're third bottom of the league just now, but we're 2 points away from being in the top 4, which shows you what kind of crazy league it is.
Yeah. The other thing we were talking about, Barry, we've talked about it at great length. Do you think since he's become a director, he's less funny? Because I think so as well, you know. That's the straightest answer I've ever had from him on a programme.
I want the old Ruffy back, you know. I mean, he's a bit too serious now for me.
You know, dull's the word you're looking for, never mind serious. Yeah. Lots of people emailing in and tweeting to us, and of course posting messages. Bring back the old Ruffy, the happy-go-lucky. Let's go out and party and have a laugh. And what's everybody doing at the weekend? But now it's all board meetings and serious stuff. Okay, great to have Barry with us in the studio for a bit of light-hearted nonsense. Now, Dundee fans have lodged a complaint. The Dundee fans have lodged a complaint with the SFA. They're not happy with Stephen McLean. I don't know what does that serve? What purpose does that serve? We're not happy with the referee.
I know what purpose does it serve. I know the referee missed the blatant dive, but I don't know why they're doing it. Is it going to make a difference? I very much doubt it is going to make a difference. Yeah,
no surprise that he got the 2-match ban though.
For me, I agree with Ruffy. Ruffy had mentioned in Monday to stop this, give them, what was it, 6 games, something like that. And then I think you'll stop people clearly diving if you're going to give them a heavy suspension and a fine. Maybe throw a fine, and then it'll really stop players from doing it.
That's the thing. That boy's now going to be labelled for the rest of the season. Every time he goes into the box,
it's his fault.
And exactly. I mean, so you say up here, look what I've done to myself here. Because he's not going to get a fair shout now off referees when he goes in the box.
Yep. Well, this programme prides itself on impartiality. So well done to Robbo getting a contract extension to 2021 at Inverness. I think it's the perfect reward for a guy who's going to lead them to the championship success and at the cost of everybody else. Good to see my old mate get a deal, Barry.
Yeah, Peter, I watched him last year 3 or 4 times. He had a difficult start last year, but the last half of the season, if they showed that form in the first half, they would have won that league for me. And I thought at the start of the season, they're going to be up there, without a shadow of a doubt. He's got some really good players. The way he played the game as well, he's got some good players that get the ball down and play. Good mixture of youth and experience. So they were one of the favourites for me at the start of the season.
Yeah, I think they'll win the mix, Ruffy.
Yeah, we played them 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they absolutely love them up there. I mean, everybody loves them, you know, even the supporters, the board and everything. He's just, it's where he's been accepted now as being one of the locals, and you can feel it towards him.
Yeah. Okay, and to finish with, Gianluigi Buffon has been talking about some of his games, the career, the stadiums he's played in. He reckons Ibrox is one of the best atmospheres he's witnessed. He played with Parma there on 2 occasions, and he said it was absolutely magnificent. Nice little touch from Buffon.
Yep, I played in both of the games. I can see where he's coming from. European nights are... the atmosphere is just electric, and it's nice that he mentions. I mean, for me, the best goalkeeper, if not one of the best goalkeepers that's ever been, to mention a Scottish team in Ibrox. Yeah, it's great.
Where was the best atmosphere that you've ever played in a game? It could have been club or country.
For the club, in terms of sheer atmosphere and scariness and whatever, it was a PAOK Salonika. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot. The Greek stadiums were pretty fierce.
Yeah.
Some amount of noise coming out, and obviously the one in Paris that we beat a certain France team. That was great that night.
That was a great atmosphere as well. I agree with you, Ruffy. Just briefly.
You need to ask, really. It has to be the Maracana, 140,000.
Yeah.
Just an absolute joy.
Absolutely. I remember that. I can't believe I've forgotten it. Have you ever played in the Maracana?
Oh, yeah.
No. Okay. I'll leave you with my own memory. The scariest stadium I've ever been in for atmosphere was Red Star Belgrade against Rangers, because the tour guide for the journalist said, "Don't stray into any area because the fans will give you a doing. They will leather you," and we were the closest knit journalists that night ever.
I don't know if you've ever seen the walk, the tunnel.
Yeah,
it was
scary.
I forgot about that. That's got to be up there.
Yeah. Okay. who'd have thought? Reminded Barry of another scary night. Anyway, who'd have thought Ruffy got the Maracana in again? Hopefully you enjoyed the programme. Thanks to Ruffy and to Barry Ferguson. Don't forget, get a chance, tell your friends, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we've got some big news coming up for you this week on the Football Show. So stay with us. Good night.